What's up everybody, welcome to Balkan Moto. In today's episode we're gonna do some adjustments on the chain on the Blue Donkey and check on some things I did last time. Alright, so from last episode, we did some adjustments on the controls and we installed the quad lock, which after I took the bike for a ride, turns out I did some things wrong. So starting with the clutch, I ended up loosening this or bringing this essentially all the way to the lever, the black part, which gave me more slack here so I can like have the bike point a little bit further in, but it loosened the cable so that even with full engagement, I don't think it was fully disengaging the clutch. So shifting gears became very clunky and I'm like, okay, let's not break things. So I ended up winding it back out to a spot and I'm kind of getting used to using it this way. Now that being said, I do still need to address it a little bit because it is still pretty far out. So for that purpose, I've bought some shorty levers and some new lever clutch arms for here and a little, what is this? Bracket for this part. So hopefully that should correct it a little bit, as well as a shaft support arm that kind of attaches here and hold on to this, but that will be in another episode. The other thing that I noticed, which is the kind of what we're going to focus on today, is after I installed the quad lock, when I was in the garage and I sat on the bike, like I obviously held the controls straight, so this part of my phone and the bottom of the dash lined up perfectly. But then when I started riding, I noticed it being like this. So slightly off angle, meaning that the left side of the handlebar is further forward than the right, which I thought was weird. Now, I had seen something like this on a friend's bike in the past, and the first thing I thought of was the rear wheel is not lined up right. So when I came home, I ended up checking it, and yes indeed, the chain tension is not set up correctly. On this side, this distance is bigger than on this side. So literally the wheel is, if the bike is like that, so on the left side is bigger, so the wheel is, what? The axle is like this, so the axle is like that, so the wheel is pointing to the left. So I have to counter steer to essentially line that up. So in today's episode, we're gonna loosen all this up, redo the chain tension, and line the rear axle up properly so that it actually runs true straight, not slightly off center. Alright, so it turns out I actually don't have to lift the bike up. We can do it on the side stand. We'll check the chain tension. It should be between 43 and 48 millimeters. Between, it looks like from the bottom of the chain to the bottom of the swing arm when you push down on it. And then in proper drivetrain cycle, will overload the engine as well as blah 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 blah. Okay. More than the chain can damage the frame. Okay, so make sure it's not more than 55 millimeters. To adjust the drivetrain, loosen the axle, and then adjust the lock nuts. Tighten the drivetrain, turn the drive, blah 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 blah. Okay. Main drivetrain select adjustment bolt using the alignment marks on the. Make sure that the drivetrain pullers are in the same position. Yep, so that's the problem. They're not in the same position. And then we gotta retighten. Okay, straightforward. So let's measure the current slack. All right, so I measured the slack based on the instructions here, and we're actually sitting at 51 millimeters, which is out of spec and actually close to the danger zone. So definitely need to adjust that. Let's loosen the axle nut on each side of the swing arm. Tighten the drivetrain, turn the drivetrain, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Alright, let's do it. Alright, chain is retensioned down to 45 millimeters. of slack, which is right between the 43 and 48. The axle spacing is equal on both sides. I think whoever had done it before must have done it like not in a very precise way. So let's take it for a quick spin and see if things line up. Okay, so after a quick test ride, things are still crooked. Now I've lined them up, and I think the issue is with this little piece here. See how it's not like flush against the flat part, it's rotated? I think that needs to be the other way around, because if I measure it, so it's what, 5 millimeters on this side, and it's thinner on this side, which I think makes up for this little gap. So this needs to be rotated 180 degrees. All right, after flipping the axle, realigning things again, chain is within spec. It seemed to be still crooked, but I think it was a bit of an illusion because the mounting point for the quad lock is not exactly perpendicular to the handlebar. I did measure things once you like line up the handlebar just to make sure the handlebar itself is not crooked. It's not, it's straight. So that left this little mounting point being slightly off or slightly on. So that I fiddled with it a bit, and now it actually like rides like this, where it's fairly straight, and even if I turn it vertical, it kind of is pretty in line, or at least tolerable in line. So we'll leave it as is. I am getting some handlebar risers, so this will be remounted in the middle, hopefully, so that we can get some more centered display for GPS stuff. So yeah, chain is in order. I still need to clean it and lube it. But all right, now that the slack on the chain has been adjusted, let's do some cleanup, because the chain is pretty filthy from the little bit of off-road I did. There's a ton of sand and gunk on it, so let's clean that up. It's actually warm. I just took the bike for a ride, so should be perfect time to actually clean it. Let's hoist the bike up on the other side, just so the rear wheel is in the air. And I'll put some cardboard down here so I'm not spreading oil and degreasers all over the floor, and we'll clean from there. All right, bike is up. Turns out bike's too tall for my jack. So instead what I did was I just leaned it over onto its stand just to get the wheel up in the air. Pushed a piece of 2x4 under just so I can hike it up. And then I set up the jack stand under the swing arm. Lifted it up again, kicked this piece out, and now rear wheel's free. Okay, for cleaning this, I bought one of these kits from iPhone. Comes with a degreaser and a chain lube and a little brush. So let's spray the degreaser, let it sit, and clean it off afterwards. All right, chain has been degreased and scrubbed. I'm just waiting for a 10-minute period for this stuff to fully settle in, and I'll do one final scrub. And then we're going to apply the grease. And while we wait, I also got one of these things, a chain guide. So we're going to be installing that after we get the chain lubed. So, all right, chain is lubed. Let's install the chain guide, which bolts onto the 2 holes down here. All right, chain guide installed. We're ready for some proper off-road. All right, guys, that'll be it for this episode. The chain is finally sorted out. The rear wheel is aligned. We have the chain guide on. Also, we're good to ride or continue riding. In the next episode, we're going to be installing some protective gear on the bike. So crash bars, new skid plate, some tank pads. So make sure to subscribe, hit the little bell for notifications when new videos become available. Check me out, check out balkanmoto.com, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.